这个在姐姐呜啦啦啦啦，转弯头，转弯头。
Woo! We have our own jingle now for the podcast. Thank you. Shout out to Joseph.
My big brother sent us a voice note with a jingle, so we've decided to use it.
Maybe we'll put it at the start of every episode.
Or if you have a jingle that you want us to use on next week's episode, send it in
Send it to
and
us.
we can blast you singing.
It's quite catchy, I think, though, isn't it? Chill and tell. Yeah. I love that. Welcome, guys, to episode 3.
Episode 3. And you told me before we started doing this that most podcasts don't get past episode 3 because everyone gives up at that point. This is when people either stop watching or they just get bored of doing it, so they don't continue. So this is the real moment in our podcast journey.
Yes.
Can we get past episode 3?
I don't think we'll give ourselves a choice. You guys are stuck with us. You could simply not listen, really, but don't care. But
we're going to be here every week anyway.
Exactly. But today we're going to do a bit of a Q&A episode because we posted a story yesterday and got quite a few questions from you guys. We're excited to get into and just hopefully give some value, obviously with a bit of fun because it wouldn't be us. But yeah, can't wait to get into them. Before we do, G, how was your week?
What did I do this week? We went to Manchester twice. So went to one of our clients' client days, so like a workshop day at gym up north, which was really cool. Did more high rocks training. Got in trouble with Nora because I didn't track some chicken nuggets on my fitness pal. She's coaching me at the moment.
So wait. So how did I find out is the question. We were posting a weekly recap on our grid. And I asked Georgia, hey, I've got quite a few pictures of me. Could you send me a few on your phone, please? And one of the pictures was Dexter with chicken nuggets. Dexter is Georgia's dog, for anyone that didn't listen to episode 1. But I was like, surely Dexter did not have those chicken nuggets.
He did have some. He actually had 4, which was an issue of contention in our household because I gave the dog 4 chicken McNuggets. He was very happy. But
he looked very happy.
Well, I bought a share box and 20 nuggets for one human is just a bit much. I mean, I didn't even nail 16. I think I got to about 12 and then I was like, can't handle it. Anyway, long story short, I didn't put them on my fitness pal and some eagle-eyed person, it was such a cute photo. I thought
for the people watching the podcast, you can now see a picture of Dexter with his chicken nuggets.
So cute. Yeah, I thought it was a really good, healthy McDonald's choice, to be honest, choosing just nuggets and not having any chips, not having any, burgers or anything. I thought Nora will be so proud that I've just gone for protein, but I got absolutely bollocked by you yesterday.
I just because you tell me, I've been so good this week.
God. Anyway, how was your week, Nora?
It was so good, thank you. It was quite productive. Loved our trip to Manchester. And then I took a few days off and went to Amsterdam for a trip, which was very wholesome and very nice with one of my friends from uni, which we don't get to see each other quite often. So it was, very nice to spend a few days with her. But back in full mode on Monday, I was like, wow, we're back. It was quite a good week so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we've got 2 new clients in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And we've got a really cool, very unusual project that we've got, I'd say, sign off on, but it's not fully locked and loaded, but like we're getting dates in the diary with a really cool business, which is completely different to the kind of businesses we normally work with. So yeah, quite scary actually. I'm quite nervous about that, but in like a really exciting, positive way.
Yeah, I'm so proud of us. So cool.
Yes, that's 3 in the pipeline. So yeah, things are on a good trajectory.
Smashing it. But yeah, right. Let's get into the Q&A, shall we?
Context. The questions that we're looking for, or what we asked essentially was, what are you struggling with at the moment in life, business, work? Do you need help with transitioning from a job to self-employment? Have you got a challenge in your business that you need unblocking? Do you want us to brainstorm anything on our conversation today? So it was very broad, but what we want to do in these episodes is help really and chat because we love chatting about business. The first one I think we should start with is, we're going to keep them all anonymous, by the way. I think that's important too, so you feel like you can ask whatever you want.
Let's do it.
What are your recommendations for someone building a personal brand?
I think it would depend on what they want that personal brand to be for. So like, would it be to later on possibly monetize it, or would it be to get maybe like just more like followers, or like make specific content for a specific niche? I think the goal of building a personal brand matters in how you approach it personally. I don't know if you'd agree. But I would say like building a personal brand with the goal of growing your own business is very different to building a personal brand with the goal of getting brand deals or monetizing in other ways like UGC and stuff like that. So, but the core thing that I would say applies to everyone is don't copy others, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what a personal brand is, isn't it? It's like it's your personal brand. It's in the word. It has to be you. It won't work if you try and copy other people. It might work for a while. You might get a few videos that, do well, but it won't be a consistent growth, and it won't be the growth that you want necessarily with the right people and the right audience.
Yeah, it also won't be enjoyable if you're faking it.
Yeah.
So you're right. Personal brand comes down to who are you, and who I always say to people, like, what do you want to be known for? So if you're trying to build a brand, either the brand of your business or the brand
Mm.
of yourself, your personal brand, what if you could be famous for one
Mm.
singular thing, what would it be? So what would you
Yeah.
want people to say? Oh yeah, I know Nora, she is da 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 da. So in your case, the person that's asked this question, think about what you want to be known for. What
Yeah.
do you want people to refer to you as? What do you want people to say about you when they've seen your content? Oh yeah, I know she does X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
That's really important, because that then becomes an important pillar of the kind of content that you create and the themes that you talk about.
Yeah.
So for any sort of personal brand or business, we normally boil down your strategy for your content in terms of the pillars. So pillars we talk about are like topics or themes. Typically for our clients, we aim for around 4 to 5. And what's really important for a personal brand is that you don't feel like you only have to talk about one thing,
Yeah.
because we're multifaceted as humans. Like, we don't just have one interest or one thing. You can speak on different topics. You can have lots of interests. You can
Yeah.
share different things. So even if you are a business owner and you sell a specific product, be that, I don't know, like business coaching or whatever, that doesn't mean you can't share like things that you're doing in your personal life or your fitness journey, or I don't know, your baking, whatever it
Yeah.
is, the other stuff that you like, that can also be part of your personal brand too. So basically you're your niche. You don't
Yeah.
have to like just talk about one topic. I think
Yeah.
that's really important.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. The other thing on that is as well, like, you grow as a person as the years pass by. So like, if you get yourself creating just one piece of like one topic around like your content, and you keep it within one pillar only, you then limit yourself as you grow as a person to then expand your personal brand, which is, I've seen people, fall into that trap before, and then it's slowly just the engagement dies because they're no longer the person that they were 5 years ago, and they build that personal brand on that one thing only. So yeah, I totally agree that it should be encompassing of everything that you're passionate about. And people should get to know you. Yeah, not necessarily one aspect of your life.
Yeah, don't overly filter it. Don't overly script it. Just be yourself, and
Yeah.
people will connect. The right people will connect with you. Not everyone will, and that's okay,
Yeah.
because it would literally be impossible to have a personal brand that was liked by everyone and followed by everyone. Like, you've got huge creators and people that, I was speaking to an entrepreneur yesterday. He's based in America, got a massive business, and we were talking about entrepreneurship, and I said, oh, who's your like most aspirational kind of entrepreneur? Who do you love? He absolutely loves Gary Vee. And Gary
Yeah.
Vee is probably one of the biggest personal brands online. I
Mm.
know so many other people that absolutely hate Gary Vee and think he's so annoying, and like don't aspire to be like Gary Vee in any way, shape
Yeah.
or form. So I think that's just one example, but you're never going to be liked by everyone, and your
100%.
personal brand isn't going to be for everyone, and that's really okay.
I think it would be a bit of a red flag if everyone liked you, just like you're trying to fit in with everything that you don't really have anything to stand out for. So yeah, completely agree. Okay. Another question that we got was advice for staying consistent on socials whilst working long days.
Okay, so we said, I find it super hard to be consistent on social media whilst working long days. Do you have any advice on that? So the person that asked this question is a business owner. So they're already running socials for their business. I think that's maybe context for this. And I don't think it is easy. So the fact that you find
No.
it super hard is really normal. And I don't know anyone that finds it really easy when they're running a business and keeping on top of their social media. So I think it's partially about organization and expectation management with yourself on what's possible, and being open to get some support with it. So, like, you as a business owner don't have to wear every single hat in the business. You can delegate and outsource. You know, you want to be creative and you want to be yourself, but equally you can have someone helping you with editing. Outsourcing videos to be edited by someone else, a great way to save some time and to get
Yeah.
ahead. Or even like, hiring a social media manager or a team to support is absolutely okay if you need that extra help to be consistent if you are
Yeah.
in the business all day, every day.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think the expectation that it will be hard, like content is not easy. I feel like a lot of people like sugarcoat it a bit of how like it can be quite energy demanding, but I think there are structures and like systems that you can implement that make it easier. I think mindset is so important with content as well, because I think you can be on a roll with it and you can be like, oh, I'm on fire this week, post it every day, and then one of them doesn't do as well as you thought it would, and you get disheartened, and suddenly the action stops as well with it. Being not too like attached to the numbers is a big thing as well, I think, as a business owner, because you're not there to grow and go viral. Obviously, if it happens, great, you've got a bigger audience, but growing social media in order to benefit your business, which in this context, like that's what, they would want to post about, is very different to growing social media to go viral. And awareness is so important. So the consistency needs to come from a place of, I need to always be on the back of the head of these people that are potentially going to buy from me one day. The more content I post, the more people get to know me, the more I show my authority in the space, the more I'm trusted by these people. So that's
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, isn't it? I was one of our clients yesterday we were speaking to, and it was about the difference between growing a business page and a personal brand page. So kind of linking back to the first question too, but you cannot really grow a business brand page in the same way that you can grow a personal brand page. So like the expectation on that is not necessarily on follower growth, but it can be on trust and business growth. So in the case of the person that's asked this question, you're talking about your brand and business page. Amazing. You're going to get loads of business through that, but it's never going to be a like 100,000 follower page.
Yeah.
That's also completely okay because that's not the objective of it. So consistency, like Nora said, is about awareness, making sure people know exactly what you offer, how they can join your community. As long as that is maintained, like that's amazing and important and the key thing.
We got a question on what are your top tips from making the jump from full-time employment to being self-employed?
So one thing someone said to me around maybe a year ago, and it really stuck with me as just sort of like a target, and I'm quite target driven, so it was easy for me to kind of like have like a number or a goal or something. I like sort of working towards it. Someone told me that in order to quit your job to go self-employed and be comfortable and not get stressed about money was to have at least 6 months of savings in terms of like what you're used to earning in your salary. Now, that is obviously quite a lot of cash in the bank in savings for most people, but I worked towards that point so that I knew that when I was ready to pull the trigger, I had enough of a buffer financially in my savings that if things didn't go to plan initially in the first few months or was a bit slower, I wouldn't have to get another job because I would be secure. And I think having that sort of like security in myself and the trust in myself meant that money wasn't a worry, so that we then operated from a place of abundance, excitement, fun, hype, trusting our gut, going with clients that we wanted to work with, pushing for things that felt a bit ambitious and scary but exciting, and not thinking, shit, we need money, we need money, we need clients. Because as soon as you start focusing on, I need clients, I need money, you don't make any money. And you can't operate from a financial scarcity. And I think that's the biggest thing. So I would say top tip from me would be save enough money so you're not scared about money.
Yeah. Love that. It's very practical. I'm actually a bit surprised.
I think I'm actually a real underdog for being better with money than people think, because I'm very like splurgy.
You're not that organized in other parts of life. That's what surprised
I like
me.
money. That's Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. What about you? What's your top tip on that?
I think you're never going to feel 100% ready. I feel like, when we started our business, it wasn't like, like we're 100% ready now. There's always going to be an element of uncertainty. And I think you have to be okay with feeling uncertain. Because if you are not okay with that, you're probably not ready for it. That would be a big thing. We had to figure a lot of things out that we never thought we would, start to think about things that you'd never think when being employed by, a company. And I think the other thing is like, you need to be willing to work even harder, because when it's your own thing, you will have, a lot longer days at times. And I don't think that ever stops, at least in the initial years. Obviously the goal is like more for flexibility and balance when you work for yourself. And we have allowed ourselves that, I think, but it doesn't mean that the work is less. A lot of people go into self-employment for the wrong reasons and think, because there's a lot of preaching out there of like 4-hour work days and automating your whole business. And fine, it can get there, but it won't get there straight away. Maybe it won't ever get there. And I think, there's a bit of a reality check sometimes where there's a lot out there. And the reality is, if you want to start your own business and you want to make quite a lot of money with it as well, like you don't want it to just be, a 2 to 5K business, you'll need to work really hard for it. And you need to be willing to be, uncertain at times, to work even harder than you would on an employed role, and to also have people not agree with that decision as well, because that's a big thing. Yeah.
I think if you want to do it and you're thinking about the jump, then don't wait till you quit your job to do the work. Like start behind the scenes things, start saving, start planning, start mapping, start doing a bit on the side, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and then just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you'll never feel 100% ready.
No, even when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Someone asked us how to know what to post and when. How would you answer that?
I think when it comes to socials, there's an element of trial and error. So you won't necessarily always know this is the perfect piece of content to share today. There is also reactions based on your audience. They will be online at different times of the day. They would want to absorb different types of content. There's no perfect answer to this, I would say. And also, even if you're in the same industry with someone else, something that will work for them won't necessarily work for you. I think the best place to start would be decide on the frequency that you're posting, because specifically Instagram always rewards consistency. If you're consistent, more people will see your content. But if you're not consistent and you have 1 week where you're smashing it and then the next week you go fully quiet, that's not going to be great for people seeing your content. That's the first thing. Decide on frequency. Second thing is like identify your pillars, which is what G you spoke about earlier. Decide what are the main topics that you want to talk about on your page, and don't deviate from that. I think there's an element of, when you're posting content, to always try and come up with new stuff, but you don't necessarily need to do that. All you need to do is repurpose your content and speak around the same topics. And will be an element of repetition, because, your goal is to educate people and your goal is to create content that resonates with people. And you can't keep changing what that thing is.
Exactly. Great marketing is repetition.
Yeah. 100%. So yeah. I don't know if that answered the question about
I feel like it does, because unless we were to like really deep dive into an individual business and strategy, we can't give like super specific on that. I do think it is a case of testing what works, measuring and then adjusting, but sticking to your pillars and the formats that would appeal to your target audience. So like certain demographics won't want to watch certain types of videos or read things, but then thinking about who's my target audience, what other pages would they engage with, looking at your competitors, looking at other people in the industry, what content's performing for them, what was the format, and then emulating that on your page. There was a really, really thorough question that we got, which was actually in a voice note that I don't think we'll play just because we're keeping the questions anonymous, but the essence of it was, what are your thoughts and opinions on cold outreach? Is it necessary to grow an online business or a coaching business or a service-based business? Does it still work in the online coaching space? Should I be doing cold outreach or should I be using other means? And I think this is a freaking brilliant question. So thank you so much for asking. And I can't wait for us to dive in, because we have so many thoughts on cold DMs and outreach.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so passionate about this topic because I've experienced it personally. We both get them on our DMs, don't we? Whereas like, business coaches or video editors or whatever that may be, being cold outreaching us like with random messages when they don't even follow our page. And I'm like, no, it's a no from me. Answer to this question on a high level would be I don't think it works. It works at mass, it works with volume. My preference is warm outreach, and that's what we also teach our clients. And I think there's a big difference between cold DMing thousands and thousands of people that you don't even follow from your account with a copy pasted message that seems very scripted, compared to messaging genuinely with intention, potentially voice noting people that are already within your current audience to nurture that relationship further. That's completely two different concepts to me. I'm a fan of the warm outreach strategy, not necessarily the cold one. Yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah. So I think the question on does cold outreach work? Effectively, yes, it does work. Do I agree with it? No. Do I ever condone it? No. Do I like it? No. It does work though. Like, let's be really honest. If you are sending 1,000 messages, cold messages. So when we say cold, we mean to people you don't know. So it's just like completely out of the blue. This could be via email, via DM. If you send 100 of those, you are going to get some replies and you might get some sales. Like, it's a numbers game. Does it work as a sustainable ongoing strategy? Like, it's very expensive. Obviously, you can use AI generated stuff, but it puts your account at risk. It can harm your email deliverability.
Yeah.
It can harm your reputation as a brand. But it does technically work. What we see working better is targeted messaging and warm outreach, like Nora said. So having like a VA or a setter for larger scaling online businesses, we do typically see a setter in place hired. Now, what that setter won't do is typically sending cold messages, but what they will do is work through your followers, send messages to new followers, work back through your DMs and your old leads and resurface ex clients and chat to people within your current business ecosystem. So there's already a connection there, which makes that warm outreach rather than cold. And that can work really, really, really well. And is something that I would advocate for because it's essentially lead generation and following up with people and connecting with people that already know, like, and trust you. So yeah, cold outreach technically does work. And that's why
It does
people still
work
do
at
it.
mass. One thing to add on that though, even though it does work short term, what we've seen from clients that have done it in the past or have been advised to do it in the past by other people is that they might get a few clients through the doors from it. But those clients, because they're so cold and have not been nurtured before, they barely stay for the minimum term commitment even. We've had some people tell us horror stories about people canceling their direct debits from month one. And it's not necessarily a reflection of their service, but more of a reflection of that lead didn't, it wasn't ready to buy because they didn't even know that person
Yeah,
because of our cold
100%.
outreach. So I think if you're willing to get like not great quality of leads, yes, it does work. And at mass, it does work. It's a numbers game. It's a volume game. How much that lifetime will be of that customer if they do convert to a paying customer, I think is questionable. I just found a cold DM that I received this morning.
Go and
Oh,
read
it's
it. What
so
is it?
cringe. So this guy sent me one of my posts that I was talking about prep for my bodybuilding competitions, sent me my post and said, comps are no joke. Hope you crush it on stage. When is the show? Bear in mind, this guy doesn't even follow me, right? So went on my profile, chose a post, sent it to me, sent me this message, completely ignored. And then he sent me another one this morning. Did my DM send or is Instagram glitching on me? I promise I'm not trying to bug you.
What are you trying to do then, hun? Because you clearly don't follow me. So it's like, it's just ick. Like, I really don't like that.
That's just not genuine. And I don't know how people don't see through it and still do it within their businesses.
But
I'm
I
like,
think people do see through it more now. I think in COVID times, so like if you rewind the clock 5 years ago, it wasn't a normal thing. So it was
yeah,
one of the biggest strategies for the company we were working through at the time. There was at one point like 15 people on a team across the world sending DMs. We were sending thousands a day and it was signing up loads of clients. And it wasn't a normal thing in the industry then. And then obviously people start cottoning onto it and it did stop working. But
yeah,
there was thousands of pounds being spent a month on this cold outreach strategy and it was delivering until it stopped. And it's just because they were getting coaches across the world would just get bombarded with these messages. And then to be honest with you, I think we turned that off like 3 years ago. So it's not the same as it was. And I don't think it's something we'd ever advocate for. But warm outreach, 100% you should be doing this. If you're not working your inbox, you're missing a lot of opportunity and fruit to pick. Same for any coaching business or online service business, really. Don't skip your DMs and lead tracking.
yeah, 100%. Love it.
There's probably quite a quick one here, which is what gadgets would you recommend, e.g. tripods you used, cameras you used, love the camera you used on the weekend. Okay, so the camera that we used on the weekend was the DJI Osmo Pocket Pro 3.
Yeah, so good.
one of these bad boys. And these are great because you get the like microphone, mini tripod, everything with them. And they've got like a nice gimbal so it can like follow you around with face tracking and stuff.
Yeah.
They're around sort of how much are they, like 400-500?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I would recommend if you do go for the DJI, go for the creator combo because it does come with like the tripod and the microphone. They do sell it on its own as well, but I would say if you're looking to use it for content, going for the creator
Yeah.
combo for, I think it's like £100 extra or something. It would be worth it in my eyes. And in terms of tripod, I would just go for something on Amazon, really. Like it doesn't need to be the best tripod in the world. I do like the compact ones personally, especially if you're someone filming in a gym or in a space where it needs to be a bit more discreet. There's some really good compact ones that you can go for on Amazon. Just make sure that you search for what you want to attach it to. So usually it would be like tripod for iPhone or tripod for DJI, and it will come up with the right ones. Just to make sure that it connects to the device that you want to use it for. In terms of other gadgets, don't think there's anything
I'd say lights. I think
else.
you need a light.
Lights.
So if you are filming content and you want the quality to be good, don't underestimate the importance of audio and lighting.
Yeah.
So a ring light can work, or like for our content days that we do with clients, we do take professional lighting just because it really lifts the visuals and just makes everything look a lot more professional. And then you've got more flexibility in the post-production edit as well. If you're just starting out, you really can just use your phone. I would say the lighting will make a big difference, and your microphone as well,
Yeah.
rather than just using just the camera on the iPhone. One tip that we do have, but we've got these mirror things that you can
They're
stick to the
so
back
good.
of your phone. So if you are filming content from your phone, obviously the front camera is not as good as the back camera. So a lot of people say, yeah, but I would use the back camera, but I can't see myself, so I don't know if I'm in shot. You can actually get a magnetic mirror that sticks to the back of your phone. So when you are using the back camera
You
for
can
better
see.
quality, you can see yourself. So yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
We're not affiliated with any of these brands.
It's just what we use on a daily basis. But yeah, the tripod and the mirror, I would say it's worth investing 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's one around what are your content top tips for someone looking at doing a day in the life of Reels? We've not mastered them ourselves personally. However, one thing that we do apply and we say to a lot of clients is almost switching your mindset with this kind of content to document, don't create.
Mhm.
You know, you cannot force a day in the life. It just needs to be your realistic day in the life. But what you need to do is kind of get into the habit of putting a tripod and documenting exactly what you're doing. So
Mhm.
it's not about changing your day in the life to make the best content, but it's more about just starting to document everything that you do already.
Yeah, we don't really do many of these just purely because it doesn't really fit like our page so much. But
Yeah.
the day in the lives that are working particularly well currently on social, so on Instagram and TikTok, are quite quick paced jump cuts. So you're looking at for each clip under a second. We don't want to hold on a video for too much longer than that. So maybe even like 0.7 seconds. And you can have like one clip that you cut into smaller ones. So it might be you at your laptop, you cut little jump cuts between them. What used to work on Day in the Lives was narrating the day. That really doesn't work anymore. So think about, you might have the visual in the background of your day that you're tracking, but the voiceover could be talking about a topic or something different. So rather than it being like, come and spend the day with me working, and like saying, first I had my coffee, then I put my shoes on, then I went this, no one cares. Everyone's watching what you're doing. So talk about
Yeah.
something else. Tell a story whilst showing your day in the life, and you'll get 10 times more engagement than just telling us what you're doing on screen, because hun, we
Yeah.
can already see it. Those would be my top tips for a day in the life reel. When is the best time to get support with your business?
I think they mean in terms of like what stage should you be at to get support with it.
Mm.
Personally, I'm a big fan of like straight away, and yeah, I always have invested in coaching myself in other parts of my life as well. I think it's not about not necessarily knowing what you need to do, but it's about having that second pair of eyes, but also the accountability system to not feel like you're doing it alone. Because building a business can be lonely. There can be times where you second guess yourself. And yeah,
I think it just saves you time as well. Like, obviously, if you're learning from someone or working with someone that's already made a lot of the mistakes that you could avoid making, and to support you with that, then it feels like a no-brainer to just start as soon as you're trading. You can figure things out for 6 months, or you can
Yeah.
be a month in and already have things set up because you're working with someone that's supporting you. Your choice, really. But if you can afford the investment, do it.
Yeah, agree. Love it.
I
Awesome.
think there's one more on here. It would be advice for optimizing systems to support working another job at the same time. That's quite an interesting one.
Yeah, optimizing system to support working another job at the same time. I'm a big fan of automations. I really love them. I think it can allow you to have a lot more output for not as much input when it comes to manual work. I don't think everything should be automated in a business. I think the things that make your business human and make it what it is should never be automated. However, anything admin based that you do repeatedly that is the same over and over and over again for clients could probably be automated using, like a CRM system or automations. So I would be looking at, if it was a coaching businesses, anything around onboarding, how much could you automate your onboarding? The reality is the onboarding stays the same for clients. If it doesn't, maybe there's a few inconsistencies in how clients are being serviced. So that would be one area. And then accountability. Is there certain things that you could automate, not necessarily to support the clients, but to prompt clients and to do that manual thing of like you manually checking in? Could you possibly automate some of that? And then, once the client comes back, you can then obviously respond and so on. But anything that's repeatable within your business that you do on it every single day and every single week, that is, automated. When it comes to full-time job though, I would say the biggest thing would be theme your days. So look at like the working week, and every day needs to have a purpose in your business, because you're not doing it as a full-time thing. So you don't necessarily have the full day to work on it. So if you theme your days and like Monday is lead generation day, Tuesday is content day, X, Y, and Z, then going into that day, even though you only have a limited amount of time to spend on your business because you've got your full-time job, you at least have a bit of a theme on what you're working on.
So good. You are the queen of time management, Nora, I have to say.
I do love my time blocks. But yeah, I feel like this was fun.
Enjoyed that. There were some great questions there. So thank you for everyone that answered. Yeah, we'll probably do one of these again soon. So we'll put another question box up, or if you want to send us any questions over DM, and we can save them for next time too. But I hope you found it useful. What's your top takeaway of the week, Nora? I want to know your business takeaway of the week.
I think just trusting yourself. When you know you're good at something, trusting that. I think there have been conversations this week that happened that I was maybe a bit anxious going into, that went better than I thought, and reassured me that, I am good at what I do, which is not that I don't feel good at what I do. I just think sometimes it can be, when you're put in different situations, a bit trickier to remember that. And we've had some great feedback about everything that we're doing this week. And it's just back yourself. That's my business takeaway.
Yeah, nice.
What about you?
Mine would be, don't be scared of following up with people or presume that it's a no. And I had one recently where, sales call was a little while ago, and it's been back and forth over email. And I was like, oh, I've just not got it. Like, they're not coming across. Like, I've fucked it. Anyway, long story short, my email was in spam. So I followed up twice. And then I followed up through a separate email address, because I was like, I just haven't heard back. So I was a bit bolshy and I was a bit scared to do it. And they are coming through, and it was just because the email had gone to spam. But like, that was just a realization of like, there's nothing embarrassing about following up with a lead when you know you can really support their business. And hopefully it's coming through. So that's really positive. That's my learn of the week.
Amazing. Right. Thanks, guys, for joining. Stay tuned for the next one next week, but hope you have a lovely week, and we'll catch you then.
Fabulous. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.